Welcome back to Torah in 10. I'm Jody Burkell, and I'm so excited to be here with you again. What's the life-changing idea Rabbi Sacks of blessed memory teaches us this week? In life, ask not, what can I gain, but what can I give? Be a blessing to others, and you will find that life will be a blessing to you. Where do I begin? Let's see how Rabbi Sacks begins, because I could speak about this for days, and I want to maintain the integrity of his thoughts. There is something that I have always found fascinating in Judaism, and that's the difference between charity and tzedakah. When I was a child, I would watch these telethons on TV that were raising money for various animal shelters or World Wildlife Fund or starving children in Africa. And each time, through tears, of course, my heart would be breaking. I would beg my parents to please send in donations to support each of these causes. This is charity. Charity comes from the Latin word caritas, which refers to something that is dear to us, something that we feel love towards. We give to that which we hold dear. For me as a child, this was mainly animals and starving children in Africa. Tzedakah, by contrast, which we associate with being charitable, actually has a whole other meaning, and this connects us to our parsha. Tzedakah comes from the word tzedek, which means justice. We give not because we feel like giving, we give because it's the right thing to do. When we give tzedakah, we are, in a sense, righting a wrong, paying a debt, making amends. God instructs us to give tzedakah, to feed the poor, to take care of the widow, to help our brother, because what we have, what we own, is not ours, but God's, who has given it to us in trust that we will use it to help make the world a more just and better place. In this parsha, Rabbi Sacks says we find the single most fundamental principle in biblical law. Two passages, one about the land and the other about Hebrew slaves. The Torah tells us, the land shall not be sold in perpetuity, for the land is mine. You are strangers and sojourners with me. And if your brother becomes poor and sells himself to you, you shall not work him as a slave, for they are my servants, who I brought out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as slaves. You shall not rule over him ruthlessly, but shall fear God. Says Rabbi Sacks, the Torah is making a point to us that there is no absolute ownership, because ultimately everything belongs to God. The 5 books of Moses begin with, and God created the world. God created. We could ask, by what right does God command human beings? The answer is because he created the universe. Therefore, he owns the universe, and consequently, he's entitled to lay down the conditions on which he allows us to live here. This is powerful. Nowhere is it clearer than in this parsha, where we learn about the laws of Shemitah, the sabbatical year when we're commanded to leave the land, lay fallow, and the Yovel, or Jubilee year, which occurs every 50 years, declared as a special year during which there was to be no agricultural work. All land and property was reverted back to its original owner, and slaves were set free. We see from this that Jewish law rests on the principle that only God owns anything. What we have, we don't own, but simply hold in trust. And this brings us back to our responsibility for tzedakah. In Judaism, what we have is not ours. God has lovingly entrusted us with various resources on the condition that if we have more than what we need, we should share it with those who have less. This is a life-changing idea, to think about what we have, be it financial wealth or certain talents and abilities, as what has been given to us in trust, that we will use it to help others. There is one thing I know for sure, and Rabbi Sacks agrees. When we give to others, the real beneficiary is us. In his book, To Heal a Fractured World, Rabbi Sacks writes, I make no claims to wisdom, but this I have learned, that each of us is here for a purpose, and even the smallest good deed can change a life. That what counts is not how much wealth we make, but how much of what we have we share. That those who spend at least part of their time in service of others are the most fulfilled and happiest people I know. And that the ability to give to others is itself a gift. More than we have faith in God, God has faith in us and trust that we will use the blessings in our lives to be a blessing to others. And that is a life-changing idea we can all use. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the channel and share this message with anyone you feel would find it meaningful. Thank you so much.